Inni!
Song!
Nochmal vielen Dank an Ina für diese ganze Organisation von diesem Raum hier und dass wir hier sein dürfen. Willkommen zu Wir reden die Welt.
Eurem ersten K-Pop.
Ja.
Und
Inni und Chong heute am
Inni und
Mikrofon.
Chong am Start, genau. Wir haben heute wieder ein YouTube-Special. Und warum haben wir ein YouTube-Special, Chong?
K-Pop-Fans, attention. We got...
Mach laut, dreh auf, der K-Pop ist wieder da. Mach Like, mach Abo, Inni und Chong sind jetzt am Start. Wir reden die Welt.
We got Sam Carter today here in our podcast.
Yay.
What's up? What's up? Hello. I was trying to understand your introduction. I understood maybe 1%.
Yeah.
That's enough. That's
not bad.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you for inviting me.
It's an honor. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's great to have you here, man.
I feel like I know you guys. We had a quick chat before we started.
Yes.
I feel like you're my like older brothers. It's nice. I love it. Yeah.
Every guest
Yeah.
in our podcast
Yeah.
has 10 seconds to introduce themselves.
Oh, wow.
And your 10 seconds start right now.
Okay, I'm Sam Carter. I'm now a K-pop producer, songwriter. I just needed 5 seconds, I think. Oh, and some people might be confused. I'm half British, half Korean, which might make sense.
I can hear it actually.
Yeah.
Your British accent.
Still got it.
You still got it.
Still keeping it.
Yeah. Hey, Inni, you know what? I love the British accent actually.
Yes.
It sounds so...
Can you do it?
Oh.
I can try to.
Not bad, actually. Not bad. That's not terrible.
No, but I love it actually. It sounds so like immediately friendly, I think.
Yes, it does. It does. It does. It has somehow a tone that is very sympathetic.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But on the other hand, if British people start swearing, a whole different story.
Yeah.
It's even more beautiful.
Yeah, it's and Korean swearing is
Oh my gosh, yeah.
another level now.
It's unmatched.
Yeah.
It's unmatched.
Hey, do you speak Korean, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Can you swear in Korean?
Are we allowed to do that?
Of course.
Oh, of course we can, but I just want to know if you...
Oh, I can, yeah.
You can,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I've learned so many combinations. 'Cause
Combinations?
In Korea, it's all about combinations,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Sticking a few words together.
Yes.
That's one of the first things I learned, because it's the most important thing.
Yeah, I can swear in a lot of different languages.
What's your favorite language to swear?
The favorite one would be maybe Yugoslavian.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not good at it. But it's like just like the words that you can say.
Yeah.
They already sound like an insult.
Okay.
You cannot say it nicely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can imagine.
I think Korean is also very insulting.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you like swear to somebody, you know he's really mad at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you don't understand the language. You know, I'm gonna take out your eyeball, gonna chew it and spit it out. And, you know, all these kind of things. It's crazy. No.
I've heard a lot.
So Sam.
Yeah.
You're a K-pop songwriter and producer.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I do. I write a lot of K-pop, also J-pop, and I've done a lot of work in China as well. So, what am I? Asia pop producer.
okay, but
maybe.
But are you a top liner or are you like the beat maker behind it, or you do all of that?
So nowadays it's mostly top lining work because I started off singing, right? So that's what I do. I have done a lot of beat making or track production in the past, but now it's all K-pop producing has changed a lot. It's about collaborations, and so I have a lot of colleagues who make a lot of beats. So nowadays it's been a few years since I made a beat.
Yeah. So I got a list in advance. Yeah. With all the crews and groups you work with.
Yeah.
And I've seen you wrote songs for example, Monsta X.
Yeah.
For Teen Top.
Yeah.
And
it's the big ones.
Yeah.
Eyes One, big girl group back in the day, Laboum. I've done a few different things. Yeah.
Hey, they're huge names actually.
Yeah. I was actually checking how many songs I've been released. I think I've done about 120, 130 songs.
Wow.
Okay. And you do also vocal directing and also background vocals for the songs, right?
That's a big thing for me because nowadays when a Korean label, for example, if they get a song which is produced abroad, there's no one to look after the song, right? And so I'm the guy who will go into the studio with the artist, record it, and then I do a lot of vocal production. And so I've done a lot of songs like that too. There's a lot of foreign producers I've kind of worked with, and they don't even know that I've worked with them. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But how does that work? I didn't really quite catch it.
So normally if a Korean producer pitches a song and it gets cut, then they all go themselves, and with the artist they'll record it together, finish all the production beautifully. But if it's from abroad and they can't come to Korea, somebody has to do that role, and that's a big role now: vocal director, vocal producer. And so I'm the guy who'll be there recording with the artist. So I've done a lot. That's a big part of my role as well. And I do a lot of vocal tuning, production, background vocals, stuff like that. Yeah.
Is it that you're working for the groups in your label, or do you pitch it to other groups, other companies?
So there's a few labels that I work with. Yeah. So the first time I did that sort of role, the first really big one was Monsta X. They did a song called Love Killer. And that was my first big sort of role as just purely a director and vocal producer. Big hit, did really well. And so I did a lot of work with Starship, and then kind of with the labels, word spreads a little bit, and then I started working in that role with like the Boyz. Now a lot of work with SM, labels like that. I'm not really the type who goes, I'm not very good at marketing myself, so I just kind of wait until someone calls me. That's kind of what I do, yeah. Okay,
but that would have been my next question. Yeah. How do you become a K-pop producer?
Yeah, it's such a tough journey. Because I mean, I'm a little bit different because I started off as an artist.
So you were a K-pop artist.
Yeah, so I was in a band called Lunafly 2012 till about 2017, and so I knew a lot of producers from that time, and naturally that kind of led to me doing a bit of top lining, making my own songs. I was at a few different publishers. They're the guys who will pitch your songs to different labels, and so I kind of built myself up from the ground up, really, which is difficult. Yeah, and now
it's a tough journey. I was pitching songs for K-pop too, with my group, and we get our briefings from a publisher here in Korea. Yeah, you produce a song or two, send it over, and they collect it, send it to the label, and they decide which song they're gonna use actually for the briefing.
And the difficult thing about it is, especially with a big album, they maybe take 1,000 demos, and they're only choosing 10 songs.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's why we never made a cut. Actually, it's difficult. Never made it.
It's more difficult than you might think. Which is why you have to write a lot.
Yeah. Look, when was the point, and how long did it take till you could say I can live off it? Actually,
that's a good question. It depends how hard you're working. I have to say, I worked crazy hard. Like the first year. In my head, I thought, okay, I said, if I don't make it if I don't have one cut this year, I'm going to give up. So I think I wrote 200 songs my first year. They were all terrible. Apart from two, two made the cut. That was Eyes One, Teen Top, right?
Oh, wow.
The others were terrible. I still, at that time, even though I had some big cuts, I wasn't professional, right? I kind of just sometimes you get lucky with songs.
Yes.
I would say it takes a couple of years of working at least 15 hours a day, every day. Wow. I didn't take a day off that year. 2017, the first year, I didn't take any days off because the standard's so high. So I think if you're doing that every day and sacrificing other parts of your life, then maybe in a few years you can kind of get to a standard where you can say, okay, I'm a pro. I think that's a different...
Crazy.
Okay, maybe let me rephrase the question. So, because you were an artist yourself, then at one point after 5 years, I guess, after 5 years you quit.
Yeah,
but why?
I didn't quit. The label went bankrupt.
Oh, yeah, and no other label signed you.
So I was getting towards 30, and I decided
Okay.
I didn't want to do that anymore.
Okay. But does that mean so you went into producing and songwriting right afterwards?
So there was a slight overlap, and obviously I'd written music for my group.
Yes,
so I did that a little bit, but then writing for idols was different.
Yeah,
and so there was a slight overlap, and after I knew that I was not going to put out another album, I then I need to think about what I'm going to do in my 30s, right? And so I was completely obsessed for the first year.
Yeah,
and I was with a very small publisher who was sending me lots of tracks, and I top-lined over every single track, made so many demos that year, and it paid off.
Yeah,
I think without that 1 year of crazy hard work, I probably wouldn't be at the level I am now. I think it's like,
but that's great, because I can see a lot of like ex-idols, who are like sometimes like getting into depression, or sometimes I don't even know what they're doing actually.
Right, yeah. I'll be honest. When after the last album, and I knew it was finished, and I knew I wasn't really wanting to be putting out albums as an artist, it was a difficult moment, but I always have that attitude of, well, I need to pay rent. What am I going to do? I can't just sit here and be depressed, right? I need rent's next month. I need to earn money. I need to do something with my life. I came to Korea to do something amazing with my life. I can't go back because that's embarrassing. I was embarrassed to go home in front of my dad and say that I failed. Like, that was so embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said I have to make it. I had goals, right? I have to have this many cuts. I have to earn this much to pay rent and blah, 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 whatever. And so I think, I know it can be difficult, but I think you've got to be mentally strong, huh? There's no other way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say, sorry, you said you're a songwriter as well.
Yeah.
So which means you need to be fluent in Korean.
Aha.
So you're fluent in Korean?
So my Korean is pretty fluent. I've been in Korea now 13 years, and obviously all the work I do is in Korean. When you're a vocal director, and I spoke Korean a lot when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
So most of the work is in Korean. But actually with demos, we write a lot in English.
They translate it, actually.
We'll translate it, we'll write new lyrics.
Yeah.
But maybe you can tell the audience again, the former K-pop band and the top songs that you had.
So I was in a band called Lunafly. This is 2012, so maybe K-pop fans now won't remember. It's 12 years ago now.
Yeah.
But our first song did really well, actually. It was a song called 얼마나 좋을까, so how nice would it be? And we were really lucky because it went like #1 in Malaysia.
Oh wow.
And so we spent a lot of time in like Southeast Asia.
And if you don't know the song, here it is.
Don't show it. I look terrible. I've got this weird mushroom hair.
Like, how many band members?
So we started off with 3 members, including myself. And what was really cool is the label that we were with is called it doesn't exist now, but Nega Network. So Brown Eyed Girls, you know Brown Eyed Girls?
Yeah.
Abracadabra.
Yeah.
So same label. We were kind of writing our own songs.
Oh, okay.
And those were the songs that were released.
Hey, this is pretty uncommon for an idol who can write their own songs, actually.
Yeah.
It's very uncommon, actually.
I remember our boss said, hey, I think there might be a chance for you guys to put out a first album, but you need to write it in 2 weeks.
Oh, what?
So we wrote 5 songs in 2 weeks, and they all came out really well. And yeah, it did good. We went to about, in those 5 years, I think I went to 70 countries.
What?
Touring everywhere, like Latin America, Europe, Southeast Asia, Japan.
You made a world tour, actually.
Yeah.
Without mentioning world tour.
Exactly. I don't want to... Saying world tour sounds a bit arrogant, doesn't it? No, but it was a really good time for me and a really good experience in learning how to make, like, really high level music because we had so many great mentors, right?
So you were born in UK,
in London.
In London, you were born in London, and then you decided when to go to Korea.
So it's quite an interesting one. So in 2011, like audition programs were big in Korea, right? So you know, like
Superstar K,
K-pop star,
K-pop star,
and there was one. Can I say broadcaster names?
Yeah, for sure.
So MBC was doing a program called Widian Tanzeng, which is The Great Birth.
Oh yes, I know this show.
So Eric Nam. So me and Eric, we were both on the show.
Oh,
and they did their first audition in London.
Yeah,
and so I was like, I just finished university, and I kind of given up. I did a bit of songwriting. You know, from about 17, did like indie bands and stuff, and I thought I'd give it one last go. So I went to the audition, and I went all the way to the top 10. Yeah, Eric Nam is obviously someone who's done so well. The mega superstar producer Yunil-sang,
I know.
Yeah, crazy producer, right? He was one of the mentors on the show, and he took me to his label, which is how it started.
Okay.
So back then, just purely as a singer. You know, and it worked out well. Yeah.
So Yunil-sang took you to his label, right? So how long was your trainee period?
Again, very unique story in that I was only 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Really? I see.
Because we weren't a dancing performing group, right? It was guitars and just like...
Oh, it was like a rock band.
Like, not quite acoustic-y sort of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Is that a word? Acoustic-y. I don't know.
Yeah, but I understand.
Yeah, I think everybody will get it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's that kind of music. So it was a little bit different. I did have one dance lesson though, and one because the teacher told me you don't need to come back. I was so bad. He says, "Sam, just go play guitar. Just nice. Go." And I went to our label's boss. I said, "Boss," he said, "I can't come again." He's like, "Oh, okay, just go write songs."
Yeah.
And so
but then it makes sense actually in a way,
right?
That you do your own songs, and since you're not a dancing performing group. Yeah.
If I tried that, I would be back in London probably very quickly. It would have been horrible.
Yeah. Currently with Cat's Eye on Netflix, and all the K-pop boom, people would want to know the industry behind it actually,
right?
Like is it really that hard?
Yeah, it's because obviously I didn't go through a long hard process, but I was living in a dorm, right? So I was me and 10 other guys, trainees living in a 3-bedroom apartment. So I saw what they went through, and it's very difficult because the standard is so high. Like you have to be perfect at everything. Singing and dancing at the same time, which is difficult. All of that. So it is, the work ethic is tough. And then obviously to do that for a few years without seeing the light of day basically is mentally difficult.
No leisure time, right?
No, it's very long days, very long days. But, you know, I see a lot of success stories, and you guys know as well, to get to a certain level, there are hours that you have to put in.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, even with writing songs, I mean, I think I've realized 1,000 hours means you can become a really top producer.
Yes.
But that's a lot of time, right? And so for these kids as well, it's just a process that you have to go through to be able to get to that level. Yeah.
So everything has to be perfect. So what has to be perfect? Appearance, dancing, singing, dancing at the same time, languages, what else?
Those are the basic things. I also think there's one thing that some people miss is it's a very difficult thing to describe, but having that X factor. So
the special something.
That special something where, because you see a lot of artists when they do music shows, that one look into the camera, I don't know where we are, looking into the camera, and the audience falling in love with you.
Yes.
But that's such a difficult skill, and that is a skill as well, you know.
And they teach you this skill?
It's practice. Like, because actually being in front of camera is quite a nerve-wracking thing, right? And you can actually see in someone's eyes if they're nervous or not.
Yeah,
right. And so having the ability to look into the camera and just having that attitude of, that camera's mine. Everyone watching, look at me, having that confidence, having that sort of X factor, that's like another level I think, which some people might forget about, I think, but that's really important. There are so many talented musicians. Talent doesn't get you everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Having a fandom, having fans isn't purely about how good your music is. It's about that kind of X factor, yeah.
What else do you need to be a K-pop idol star?
So that X factor is important. I mean, we talked about the basics, being able to dance, being able to sing, and also not just being able to sing, but sing different genres.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in a Korean idol group's album, there's so many different genres of music.
Yes.
You'll definitely have at least like a slow song in there somewhere.
The looks.
Trainee kids that I knew back in the day, constantly working out, being healthy, yeah, and being mentally really strong. So important as well.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have so much stamina. And you need to be, mentally stable to be on point.
Yeah.
You know, like you used to say that a lot. That K-pop idols, you can wake them up at 4 a.m. And ask them to do a certain move, and they will just perform.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was just going to say, the ability to work with no sleep is also something that people don't think about. I didn't think about it, but when I remember going on tour, you'd have to wake up at 3, 4 a.m.
Wow.
Hair, makeup. Get ready to go to the morning radio show to promote your concert, you know, all of that. And I found that really difficult. I love sleeping, basically. That's really tough.
I can only imagine.
I remember recording a song with the Boyz, who are a massive group now. And I think they came to the studio straight from the airport because they were in Japan. They came to the studio and it was a grueling kind of 12-hour studio session.
Wow.
And I was thinking to myself, wow, these kids are working so hard, you know.
Yeah.
Work ethic.
Coming back to your world tour. I call it world tour. I don't know a better word for that, but which country was the one that made an impression to you that sticks to your mind?
So this was a time in K-pop actually where not a lot of groups are going abroad. So this is the early 2010s, right? And so we were kind of one of the first groups to go to like Southeast Asia. K-pop has always been really popular, but we started going. I remember we were the first group to go to Tunisia, which is North Africa.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Africa, and we did a show for it wasn't huge, like 1,000 people, but that was amazing. We then went to lots of different countries in South America, Latin America, and I've always wanted to go there, right? That was big because those are probably our biggest shows. Like in Mexico, I remember we performed in front of like 5,000 people.
Which is a big. This is pretty good for
big crowds, yeah.
Abroad.
And so those sorts of experiences kind of opened my eyes because I'd spent so many years just trying to make good music, and I realized, the world is so big.
Yeah,
so many people, so many different cultures. But probably Mexico was quite big because it was my first time in that area of the world, and it was really, really fun. I enjoyed it.
So would you consider yourself as the door opener for BTS?
I definitely shouldn't say that.
because as a lot of people may not know, BTS had their breakthrough in Latin America, right?
Right.
Because they weren't that much recognized in Korea,
right?
But they noticed that they had a lot of listeners in Latin America. That's why they packed their bags, and actually flew all the way to South America. And from there, they expanded globally, right?
Exactly. Yeah. They kind of reversed back into Korea, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I think, I wouldn't say me or my group, but I would say groups in the 2010s, maybe all the groups opened the door a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, groups then were starting to get really popular in other countries. And I think you always have to kind of respect who came before you because they have an influence on so many things to do with your career, musically, culturally, all of that,
Yeah.
So what do you think is the biggest thing? Why is K-pop globally so successful?
Such an interesting. I've thought about this since I started, because since I started writing, especially. So this is 2017, 2017, suddenly there was a big boom, right? And it's still going. I don't know. I think it might be a quality thing. I think not just in music. I think Korea is a country obsessed with perfection in so many different aspects of life, and work. And work ethic is so important, right? People here work crazy hours, you know? And I think that's had a big influence because a lot of Korean music producers I know are all perfectionists and they're always trying to improve. And the standard of music production is just so high because of that attitude. I think maybe that's one reason. Yeah, I think just the standard is incredibly high in K-pop. You know what I mean? And
so you're basically saying that the ordinary listener can tell that there's so much work put into this kind of music, or
I think you can tell. Okay, and I think you can tell by watching an artist on stage. Yeah. Yes. How much work has gone into because if you watch all the members, it's perfect. Their synchronization is perfect, right? Yes. Like just going if one person's a little bit wrong, I've seen it myself. The label's like, no, that's not good enough.
I have the feeling. If you see an artist, you can actually tell. But if you listen to the music, you maybe won't. Because like a professional standard is a professional standard. It's the same as in the States, as in Korea. But what the Koreans can do is they mix different genres perfectly together. That it works in one song. Like you have like ups and downs. For me, I consider storytelling actually is the most important thing, whatever you do. And the K-pop song takes you to highs and downs. It has like slow parts. It has always fast parts. That's what you enjoy as a listener because they take you to a journey, like a musical journey actually. They take you.
Completely agree with that. Adding on to that, I would say is, especially with a title song for an album, it's not just about listening. When they choose a song, they think about how it's going to be on stage. Yeah, which is a huge part of it. I think that's one important part because nowadays, artists from Europe or the US, you don't see a lot of dancing artists anymore. It's kind of, it's old school now. It's very sad to say, but because we grew up like Usher, Justin Bieber dances a bit, but in Korea, that's such an important part of it. I think maybe that's another part of the success story is it's fun to watch on stage. You know what I mean?
So it's even though you don't like the music, but the dancing is entertaining enough to listen to the music.
Yeah, if you go to a K-pop concert, it's from start to finish, like there's no song where they're just standing and singing, right? Right. It's a show.
And I think now, she was one of our guests, she also explained it, that she said, well, K-pop is not just music, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. So which means it involves clothing, makeup, the music itself, of course, then the dancing. So it's a sum of a lot of things.
It's a bigger thing.
Which make people who like or love K-pop completely dive into this world.
I agree. I mean, obviously it has links to like the beauty world, and Korean beauty is massive, right, around the world. It's almost like a culture, isn't it?
It is, It's a K culture. It's a K wave, actually. It's a pop culture, I would say. Because if you say culture, it's a little bit too much because, Korean culture has not only these bling and glamorous part of like what K-pop actually represents, but it's somehow pop culture.
What do you think has changed between the K-pop industry that you used to be in and now?
Oh, it's changed a lot. I mean, the obvious thing is music style has changed a lot because the trends change very quickly. Like this year, a certain music will be popular, and then next year it will be dead. You know, like UK garage was huge this year in K-pop, right? Who knows what it's going to be next year? I would also, one thing that I've noticed is a lot of idols, we say idols or artists, are becoming more artists. They get involved in the songwriting process, or they get involved in creative directing on the album. I think that's a really cool thing. Like nowadays, the first time I wrote with an artist, a group called Astro, who obviously are really big, and I met with one of the members who wanted to write a few songs for the album, and back in the day that didn't really happen. You know what I mean? They were just purely people who sang and danced, but now they're getting involved in that, and I think that's a really good thing, because now they're kind of having a say in their own identity. Yes. Musically.
Yes.
And now almost every group has a member who's really good at writing songs. And I think that's a really good thing, because now you're getting more different types of music, groups that are really having their own unique identity. You know, you don't really see two groups who are the same now, which I think is cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But is that something that happened overnight? Like, because someone in a let's say K-pop band, started songwriting, and then it came out pretty well. So all the other K-pop bands thought, oh, hey, we can do the same.
Possibly. I would say also, I mean, it kind of links to a different topic, where I think writing music has become easier because of the sampling world. Now you can use samples now. Back in the day, very difficult. You had to be able to play an instrument.
Yeah, you had to record it, actually.
You have to record. Yeah. You had to play piano. The skill level was different. I think it's become a little bit easier, and people have home studios now, right? You can be in your home and record a song.
You can use AI and they play it for you.
That's happening now. That's making me nervous, by the way. So I think that's had a big influence, and maybe just the general attitude, you know.
Do you think also like everything changed with the global impact of K-pop? Like everybody tries to be global, try to prepare their, like 10 years ago, nobody thought about like, okay, we're going to be huge in the States, right, or huge in Europe. But these days, okay, let's try to do music that also works in the States. Yeah.
I think that's definitely become a thing now, because you see a lot of groups now releasing songs in English, doing an English version for abroad. I don't know if the young kids think like that, or young artists think like that, because I think now the world is so connected. I think maybe the kids just see it as one market, you know. I think maybe that's a thing. I think it's a great thing, as I said, that they're now getting involved in making their own songs. Like, it's really fun to write with the artist, because you can write a song perfect just for them. Yeah. With their input. Yeah. And that's a lot of fun, actually. I love doing that. Yeah.
So how many songs do you write, like, usually in a week?
Three or four.
Okay.
So I do about 100 songs a year.
Okay.
120 songs a year, something like that.
If you write so many songs, how do you manage your creativity, and where do you get inspired from, actually? Or what do you get inspired from?
I think inspirations are it's not a thing that comes every day. So I know a lot of producers who can only make music when they're inspired, but I think me and a lot of producers nowadays think of it as work. So even if I don't feel inspired at all, I know that I can write a song, and I'm actually very mathematical. I'm very sort of pattern oriented. Obviously, the feeling that you get listening to a great song obviously has to go in there. So I was firstly, it's very rare that I write when I'm inspired nowadays, because you have to write so much. I also would say that the songwriting process in K-pop has become collaborative. So you might have 4 producers on a song, all working together, because I do a lot of song camps and song sessions with, you know, a different person every day, basically. And so different styles coming together also create something quite fresh. You know, I might not necessarily sing the demo, someone else might come in and sing, and because of their voice tone, that gives you different ideas. So I think that collaborative process has become big in being able to make different types of songs constantly. It is a really difficult process. I would also say that listening to a lot of music is important too, because obviously we all have our own preferences, right? For me, especially when I was a kid, I only listened to rock music, really. Okay. Like Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, and then punk rock, and then I got into R&B a little bit, but there are certain styles that I like. Because music is a job for me now. I do listen, just even if I don't like it, I'll listen to so many different types of music and be like, nowadays that seems really popular, or people like that type of vocal delivery. It's a lot of research and a lot of kind of studying. So it's not kind of the whole glamorous, hey, let's go in the studio, have fun, just write a song. It's so calculated, because at the end of the day, the reason why we're writing this song is because we want an artist to take this song, right?
Can you still enjoy listening to music?
That's a really good question. I've been talking about this with recently with a few producer friends of mine. I enjoy it less than I used to as a kid, because I had no goal. I was just listening to it because I really liked it, you know. Now, even if, for example, if we were sitting here, music came out, my brain immediately would be like, oh, what is that? What are they doing? Oh, that's a really cool idea. Maybe I can kind of rework that sort of idea, because I have to put out 3-4 songs a week, right? And so
you cannot switch it off, actually. You always get reference songs and you have to listen to that. And I used to listen to a lot of old school hip hop music. That's my thing, actually, from like late 90s.
Yeah.
But from a certain moment, I like, since you have to listen to so much music just for the reference, we would like to make a K-pop song. Okay, then I listen to like 10 or 15 K-pop songs all the time, try to analyze how's the bass, like how is the top line, and blah, blah, blah. And then you go home and you don't want to listen to anything, actually.
Yeah, that's probably the time when I go home late at night. You've listened to music for 12 to 15 hours. Your ears, and it's the thing, your ears get very tired. And you don't want to listen to anything, which is quite sad. But there are times where if a song's really great, I'll be like, wow, this is amazing. Or if I've written a great song and I know it's a hit, I'll be like, wow, and I get really excited. Because you're writing with, like I said, 3 or 4 people together, the energy you get, you'll know it's a hit. That's a really good moment where you enjoy the music after it's finished.
But your clients, how do you get your clients? Are you being are you being recommended, or how does it work in that business?
Yeah, so recommendation's a big thing. If you become known for doing really good quality work, like for example, after I did the song for Eyes One, that was kind of the first really big song that I did, because I think they sold maybe,
it was huge.
Not quite 600,000, but in that area, right? And so that was the first big song, and I got so many text messages, because they know that you've written, I think it was song number 3 on the album. And I suddenly got a lot of people asking for my number from different people in it, because it's quite a tight industry. And so that's how things started. And every time you do something really of high quality, we call them A&Rs. They're the people who look for songs, look for people to work with at labels. They'll ask other labels, hey, I need someone to work on this song. Do you know anyone? And they'll be like, oh, Sam, he's really good. I'll give you his number. And so that's how I started kind of my first one with Monsta X, Starship, the label.
Sorry.
It's all right, mate. And I've worked with like Ive, Gravity, so within Starship, but then they'll recommend me to like the Boyz, their company, or Astro, their company, and all these different labels. And then your publisher, as well as getting recommendation, your publisher will also be like trying to get work for you as well.
What happens with the songs that don't make the cut?
They will still be there. I still have demos now that I wrote 5 years ago, and sometimes they'll get cut this year. It happens.
Oh, okay.
They're constantly being pitched around, or if I have a meeting with somebody, I'll play every song that I think suits them.
Ah, okay, understand. So there's a database of your songs, and then okay.
And also in my experience, the songs that I write this year, there's a high probability they'll probably go somewhere next year. So that's my experience. They'll get cut somewhere. I know they'll get cut somewhere. I don't know who it's going to be, but that's probably going to be 1 year later. So you have to be very mentally strong, because there's no instant results.
Okay.
Financially, whatever, you know. But that's also fun as well.
Does it ever happen to you that like after a month
Yeah.
You didn't expect anything, and then all of a sudden you get like a huge amount of money, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's opinion of huge is different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There have been days where, oh, that's useful.
Yeah.
Let's
say
That's
unexpected
useful.
money. Let's say unexpected,
Yeah.
because I can imagine, because you don't have the full overview of all the songs
Yeah.
that have been released and how good they perform.
Yeah.
And then I can imagine you're like, oh, well, that's nice.
It's interesting because
Yeah.
because I just said I've done a few J-pop stuff, right? There's a big group called I&I. I just did a song for them this year, and because I'm a foreign producer, I'll get paid my royalties after 1 year.
Yes.
Because that's a little bit different. So that's going to come. And a guy who I worked with on that, he was like, you can expect something pretty good. So I'm still waiting. I'm still curious on how that's going to be. So that's going to be another unexpected surprise. And there are some producers who are always looking at the data on, how many is selling, how much can I expect? I never look at that. So I get that quite a lot.
Yeah. Because why I asked that is I heard from a friend of mine who has another friend. He produced music for a Hollywood blockbuster. And every year,
right?
There's a paycheck that really tastes good.
Yeah, exactly.
For one song that he created for Hollywood.
It's actually one of my
blockbuster.
dreams. Actually, like if you have like this for the rest of your life, that's crazy. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think a lot of producers are kind of chasing that one song, right? And I mean, because I've done a lot of work, but I wouldn't say that I've got that one song where I can retire, right?
Yeah.
It's not that sort of finance that I've experienced yet. I mean, it's obviously I'm doing better than I can ever imagine. Like making money from music. If you're doing that, I think you're blessed. It's so fun. But that one song, which is why I came into a new publisher this year, and for the next 5 years, I think for me, I just wanted to do that before I finish. Have that one song.
So what's to expect from you in the near future?
So do you know what I used to do a K-pop radio show. I did it for 10 years in Arirang. You know Arirang?
Yeah.
So for 10 years, I had a cool K-pop show.
You still have it?
I quit in April.
Oh, okay.
So because it was always my dream to just be a songwriter.
Yeah.
And so I kind of disappeared. I don't do any social media as well. I quit doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I just wanted to disappear and just write music for 5 years. That's kind of my thing. I don't really do a lot of vocal direction work either, purely just writing songs. So for the next sort of couple of years, I think that's going to be me sort of hiding away.
You learned all the techniques here in Korea, right?
Yeah.
And everything like when it comes to music production and songwriting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you going back to UK actually and grow the next K-pop, the U-pop? What would you say?
Maybe. I mean, to be honest, I know a lot of producers who go, when they get older a little bit, they start going into positions, being in a label or being like an A&R or being whatever. I have no interest in like kind of having a label or having artists. It's not really what I want to do. I just purely want to write music. I think it's a very difficult thing to do that. I can imagine living in the UK definitely and writing music there. And I'd love to write not just in Asia, but also back home in England and the US as well. But, I think sometimes you just go with the flow.
Yeah.
When you've got a good thing going, sort of made a name for myself a little bit, I'm just really, really enjoying it. And I've got such a tight group of producers that I love, like family for me.
Yeah.
And so us being together every day, I mean, it's like I said, it's like, I'm blessed, really.
Yes.
Every day I'm with my friends making music.
Yeah.
And just having fun. It's a good life. So for now I'll be here, but one day maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sam, thank you so much.
It's all right. I hope this was.
No, it was really interesting.
Yeah,
really much.
No, because I had a lot of questions and I have them all answered. Because like I said, because a lot of our listeners are as unknowing of your business as I am. So I'm asking these questions also for the audience, which is, and I'm really satisfied with the answers. It really gave me a lot of insights. Thank you very much for that.
And a lot of aha moments, right?
Yeah.
Like oh wow.
Yeah. And thank you for your openness and your honesty.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you had also a little fun.
It's rare that I talk about myself this much in this sort of short space of time. So that's been fun. It's been good.
So every guest has the honor to name the episode.
Yes.
Yeah, and since you're so highly creative,
give me examples. What was previous titles?
Okay.
What was today? What did we have in?
We had Catwoman in Seoul.
Catwoman in Seoul. I can't beat that. Definitely. Let's go half British, half Korean K-pop producer.
Half
British, half Korean.
Half British, half Korean
producer in Seoul. Something like that. I don't know. Something like that.
So half British, half Korean K-pop producer.
There we go.
You just said you don't have any social media you can share with the audience, right? Because
I quit.
But if you want, share anything you would like to.
If there's anything you want to share.
Do you know what? So I quit social media in April after I finished my radio show. I kind of wanted to disappear for a bit.
Yeah.
I will return one day. Definitely. I would say, sometimes K-pop fans don't always realize who the producer of certain songs are, but I've been working with some big groups in the future. Maybe check out some of the credits and you might see my name, and I don't know, maybe I'll see you guys maybe soon again.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
That will be fun.
Yeah, have an
really
update.
Fun. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, we can also do something besides the podcast. We can go and have dinner.
Oh man, would love that. Would love that.
Yeah.
Before you guys go, but hopefully it was interesting, and thank you for taking the time to watch this to the audience and for you guys as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay,
let's clap.
High five. Nice.
How do you say bye in German?